Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to Bold Badass Business Owners, where we bring you the boldest and the baddest. And today I am just so excited to have Thomas Gay, a referral sales expert and the creator of the incredible Chat Bridge program, to talk to us about how to have endless new clients. Who out there needs some clients? You better have your hands up, people. We all need clients. Now, Tom, I'm not going to go into his whole bio because it would take the whole hour we've got. He is an accomplished entrepreneur, has taken many businesses to incredible heights of success. He lived in South Africa for 7 years and did an incredible missionary project that helped over 7,000 children. He's an entrepreneur with a big heart and a big resume. So really, Tom, I'm just thrilled to have you. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Marjorie Brown. It's a pleasure to be with you. It's an honor to be with you too.
Well, listen, you're going to make me blush here. I'm blushing, Tom. But listen, I'm thrilled that you are here because I know I have heard from a number of people that we know in common how fabulous the Chat Bridge program is. So I can't wait for us to get to that and have you talk about it. But before we get there, let me ask you, why must people listen to what we talk about today? Why must they listen? What has changed in the way people communicate that they need to be aware of, or they're not going to get the new clients?
Well, I'll give you a word picture. I was sitting in a restaurant the other day, father and mother, two children, waiting for the wait staff to place an order, out for dinner, and they're all on their iPhone. Now, they're sitting 3 feet away from each other, side by side in the case of the same side of the table. And yet, they're not talking with each other. We have become so covered in technology, in noise, in social media, in digital marketing. I could keep going. So covered in the things that separate us that we have all kinds of consequences. One of the consequences is one of the reasons we're here. People need more business. People want more clients, more sales, however you measure it in your particular business. However, in order to get there, you have to break through that noise, through those habits, through those barricades. As I used to say, people today, in order for you to get through to your A prime prospect, you have to break down the walls that we've all put up as defenses against that noise. Now, how are you going to break down the walls? You're not going to do it with a text message. You're not going to do it with an email. How many emails have you deleted today, or has your software deleted from view? I get surprised
Oh, yeah.
There's just so much crap that comes into all of our lives. So
Oh, yeah, Tom, and most of mine say something about Viagra. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Why are you sending me these emails about Viagra, please?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you. I can only get in trouble by trying to give you an answer to that. So I'm just going to leave that to you.
Tom,
and the
it's my
people
name. It's my name, Tom. They think I'm a man, I think. I don't know. Anyway, but the
Well,
point being, those just clog up your email, and nobody enjoys going through email anyway. So what you're saying is so true. Nobody likes to sit. Have you ever heard anybody say, I can't wait to check my email? No.
oh, you're not old enough to remember when we first got AOL back in the 90s, and you heard the little ping that said, "You've got mail." We
Mm-hmm.
would get excited to say, "Well, somebody's talking with me." Now it's turned into a torrential flood. It's a tsunami coming at us of stuff you don't want.
Now it's like, you've got mail.
Well, that's what we have to break through,
Mm-hmm.
not just in business, but in all aspects of our lives, because Communications leads to trust. Trust leads to relationships. Relationships lead to results. Now, whether that's a better family life or more coming into your top line on the sales side, doesn't matter. It's all the same.
I love that. I'm going to pause you for a second because I just want to reiterate that. I think it's genius. Communication leads to trust. Trust leads to relationships, and relationships lead to results. Is that what you said?
That's what I said. Yes.
Yeah, which might be sales, it might be the soulmate of your dreams, it might be a new job, whatever it is. But that is your formula for success. And it's the thing that people try to bypass by using digital everything. And you can't bypass that. You cannot create trust at the deepest level with this thing.
I agree. Now, I believe in using tools.
Hmm.
However, don't let the tools lead you. You lead the way with the tool and then get into the communication flow personally.
Beautiful. You don't let the tool lead you. You lead the tool. And the tool is part of just one part of your, as they would say in business, your customer acquisition process.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's the way, really, what we're talking about, if we break it down, is the way that you cut through all the crap out there, all the noise, all the BS, and you earn somebody's trust and provide value so that they want to invest in you and what you offer.
Yes, exactly. I'm privileged to be leading a small group later today on a topic called trust craft.
Mm,
CRAFT. Trust craft. Now think
I
about
love
those two
that.
words together. The crafting of a trust building strategy, a
Mm.
trust building behavior set, trust building activities in your day to day life. And as you understand how to craft trust and do it, all of a sudden you'll start to see the changes and the results accumulate. And there's a compounding effect. I mean, I've done it myself in building my businesses, and it's always personal relationships always lead to results.
It's so true. And Tom, I just recently asked my mastermind coaching program people, and I said, look, I want you to think for a second about your last five customers. Your last five customers, where did they come from? I want you to jot that down. Now, I want you on your hands to hold up the fingers for how many came through a person who knew you and liked you and sent you to that other person, or they came through some kind of networking that involved relationships. And guess
Yeah.
what? All five fingers were up for everybody. And that's what we've got to remember in this age when robots are replacing people. There was a bartender that was a robot on the cruise ship I was on with my daughter this summer.
Yes.
And, robots are replacing people, but they can never really replace people. AI can never replace our unique personalities, our unique voices, our unique essences. And, we've got to find those ways to trust craft. So that's so fascinating. Tell us just a few of those, Tom, that you think are most important. What are some of the most important ways for someone to practice trust craft and to craft a trusting relationship?
Well, there's a construct, and it was written up more than a dozen years ago under the title "The Go Giver."
Bob
And
Berg.
Bob Berg, and I've known Bob since probably 2009 or 10, shortly after he wrote his first book. And the whole concept of giving is at the foundation, its core, it's in the
Mhm,
DNA of trust. Now, why? As I teach, when you give and give and give
mhm,
into a relationship, what happens is the people that you're doing that with begin to, you heard it, know you, like you, trust you. When trust is built, because you're a giver, the human mind says, as the receiver, how do I respond? How do I give back? How do I
mhm.
reciprocate? And when you reciprocate by giving something meaningful back, you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
The brain goes to work and releases those endorphins, and all of a sudden you feel jingly all over that I just did something in kind for the person who's been giving to me.
And I feel good because I have something to give.
Exactly. So the
Yeah.
the the whole point is, if you, I'm working with a business coach out of the Washington D.C. area. Right, young man. He's in his, well, they're all young to me. This gent's in his 40s, and I couldn't teach him anything about his business, but I could teach him and have taught him a lot about how do you grow your business.
Mm-hmm.
And here, 6 weeks into our relationship, he's getting all kinds of introductions because he's embraced the principles and the activities that have turned him into a giver. Now, for people he's met in the last 6 weeks, they're giving him introductions because he's been helping them.
Mm-hmm.
One of the people has one of the people he's met has taken him to a professional football game, and it's like, okay, this is what you get when you put yourself in front of others as one who's willing to invest into that relationship.
I love that, Tom. And I always say it doesn't just come back from the person that you give to directly. And if you want to see your business really have an uptick, just start giving, period. Give your time, give your talent, give your treasure, tithe back, give part of your earnings back to organizations that have helped you and organizations that help others get their businesses off the ground. And then suddenly all this stuff will come back to you because it is going to circulate. It's the law of circulation. And if we hang on to stuff like, if we clench it like this, and oh, I got to hang on to my clients, I got to hang on to this, then we basically have stifled the flow of that energy.
Well, it's funny you say that. I have a phrase I use, and what I say is, when you give it away by the slice, spread your arms and hands apart because you're going to get it back by the loaf.
Ha! Nice.
Okay, and it happens every time. It always happens.
Yeah.
It
And
cannot
not
not happen.
necessarily from the same person, but it
Oh
comes
well,
back for sure.
well, now you're talking about how people see you, how they look at you. Absolutely. When they see you as a giver and tell people about you, now you're getting the results that you want. Now you're getting there's a term called word of mouth, uh,
Mhm.
and I could talk about the positive and negatives of this characteristic called word of mouth. Um, what you want to ensure is that people are saying the right things about you, even when you're not there.
Yeah, because we all know,
Yeah.
we all mess up, and then, people are way more likely, the studies have shown that if somebody's pissed and upset with us for some reason in business, they're gonna talk about it to 20 people, whereas if they're happy, they'll talk about it to maybe 2 or 3.
E exactly, and that gets to why I don't say why I say don't count on word of mouth as a marketing strategy, because you don't control any of the activities that come out of that. You want it, you want lots of it, but there are better ways to cause it to happen and also give you the measurability of the results that are coming in,
Yeah,
which
so like reviews, for instance. I mean, online reviews, everybody should have their Google My Business. You should have your Google My Business, people. It's free. Claim it, or
yeah,
somebody else might claim yours, and ask for people to give you reviews. And a lot of people are afraid to write. So I mean, just talk to them on the phone and record it. Record it on Zoom, then write it for them and send it to them and let them change whatever they want, let them approve it, and it's done for them. Just make
Exactly.
it easy for people, right? Well, Tom, that's what you've done. You've made it easy for people with ChatBridge, and I think it really is phenomenal. You've been getting so much buzz about ChatBridge, and I've heard about it at Grand Connection and other organizations, and I've heard about it from people that we have in common. So tell everybody, what's the ChatBridge program that you created?
Well, ChatBridge is a response to a problem. We all have this
Mhm.
in the marketplace, and I know people watching us today come from different backgrounds, but I'm going to talk about the marketplace problem. And because our world has changed, there's a
Mhm.
new way that we communicate, and it's led to a problem. That new way of communication in the business world is virtual networking. When you go to a virtual networking event, you'll hear two phrases. I'd like to say there are two common phrases now in our lexicon from a virtual networking experience that we're all in. Zoom meetings. Phrase number one is you're muted. And then phrase number two is save the chat. The reality is, if you're not saving the chat to follow up with people, then the time you spend in the networking is useless.
Mhm.
Nobody gets a sale directly out of well, rarely do you get a sale directly out of a virtual meeting. Now, let's extend this. When you save the chat, this is the problem that's coming up. You have to download this awful file, which has this amorphous string of content in a .txt file that you can't read. You can't find
Mhm.
the opportunities. People put all kinds of elements into their chats to try to help you see it when you save it or download it so that maybe you'll call them or follow up with them. But it's a terrible problem.
Mhm.
A gentleman that I've known for a decade came to me in, oh, when was it? In early January and said, Tom, I have a problem. I go to lots of Zoom meetings and I save the chat and I can't follow up for crap from these
Mhm.
meetings. Can you fix this for me? That's the way he talks, and he knows me as having a technical edge, if you will. So I said, let me give it a look. So I went to my tech team, and we started working on a project to convert those saved chats into a follow up system. In 3 months, we had a platform, 2 more months of testing. We released it in early June. And in 2 clicks and a couple of milliseconds after you log into ChatBridge, it takes that entire stream of unusual data and
Mhm.
converts it to a list of everyone who went to the meeting,
Mm.
posted into chat. Every post they said, whatever they said in that post is one click from opening up. So you can go through all the people and say, follow up with Dr. Barnsley Brown. Forget following up with Charlie Brown. Go through
Mhm.
the whole list. If they put, or if you put a link into your chat post, which is normal, could be your website, could be your calendar, could be LinkedIn, whatever, Facebook link. Click on it and it opens up. So now I can see who Dr. Barnsley Brown is because she put her LinkedIn page
Mhm.
link in there. Now, if I'm going to reach out and follow up with her, am I not better off knowing something about who I'm talking to?
Mhm.
Come and see that she lives in North Carolina and she's done this and she's interested and she's works for these causes and whatever her focus is. All of that is part of the preparation for building the relationship.
Mhm.
Well, in milliseconds, everything is there, including if she put her email address in, one click and my email system opens up. So now I can send out a note, make a reference to what I saw on Facebook, suggest that we have a conversation, invite her to something I might want her to come to, whatever it is. It's simple now. It's so easy that people say, they're blown away. And you've seen the comments and heard the comments.
Absolutely. And that kind of organizational, it's like a CRM for chats, basically. And that kind of organization is really essential because, as you point out, virtual networking is not going away, folks. Even with COVID going away, partly, virtual networking is not going away. We're going to have hybrids. We're still going to have fully virtual networking in national and international arenas. And so
I,
this isn't going away. We've got to learn strategies to connect with people so that we just don't go to the meeting and then leave the meeting and say, oh, well, that was nice. Ah,
I don't. Yeah, it's not going away.
no.
It really isn't going away. And realistically, I was talking with a gent who runs a networking organization out of Canada, and he said in the last year he's had people from 48 countries attend his meetings.
Yeah. So
That's more
exciting.
indicative. Yeah, that's where we're going.
That's where
And
we're going. It's a global community. Thank you, COVID. That's the good flip side of COVID, right? Is people are more connected globally than we've ever been before.
and if you understand that, and then let's go back to people hiding in their castles that you need to break in and find a way in, get over the moat that they built.
Yeah.
Now, how do you do it? First, you make contact. Then you turn that contact into a follow-up relationship, and then build the trust, and then you get on into the stages of discovery, whether or not there's places you can help each other.
I love this, Tom. Okay, so can I tell you a secret strategy I use in Zoom meetings?
Oh, yeah, that would be a nice thing. Yes,
You want to hear a secret? Who wants to hear a secret?
a, a secret.
This is we pull away the red curtain in this show. We tell our secrets. All right. So, and it's a secret in general. Even when I did in-person networking, I wouldn't take my business card, Tom. I don't take a business card. I don't take a QR code. I don't do any of that. You know why? Because I want somebody to say, well, let's get together. And I'll say, great, send me a text with your calendar link. Now, why do I have people? And I'll send that as a private message. Hopefully, private message is enabled. If it's not, I may do a different tactic. I might put my email. But what I want to do is get on that person's calendar, but I also want to have them in my cell phone so I can connect. So I just came back from an event and I knew that I was going to have some folks who would be the perfect people I love working, which is which is big-hearted women in business who want to reach six figures and multiple six figures fast with fun. And
Right,
guess what? One of them was sitting right beside me. That's how divine spirit is. We're always where we need to be. And then
yep.
the other one came running over to grab me and
Ah,
said, I need to talk to you. And both of them, guess where they are? They're now in here and they're asking for the prep form, which I send. I require people to do an assignment before we ever have that complimentary session. Because if I know they don't do the assignment and they don't do it within 2 days, they're not the person I want to work with because I work with go-getters. In fact,
yep,
Tom, I really put my foot in my mouth because I had a woman who kept putting me off from the last meeting. And I said, you know what? We're not a good fit. I can't work with you. And
yep,
she's looking at me and I'm like, nope, I can't because the people I work with take action. They find 11 minutes for their business and they do it. And
yep.
I was like, did I
Good
really
for
say
you.
that?
Good for you.
Man,
You're following a process. You likely
yes.
know this this name. This, let's call it a tactic. It's called assignment selling.
Mm-hmm.
You give people an assignment. If they do the assignment before you meet, then you know they're prepared for you to go to the next level and solve their needs.
And it's pre-qualification because we don't have time to waste. And I know
Yeah.
you, like me, charge a lot for your coaching, and there's a
Yes.
reason why, because we provide value. And so if we're simply giving it away to someone who's going to waste our time, the chances of someone, if at least if they watch a video and take notes, you give them a video to watch or you give them a form to fill out,
Sure.
then you know, okay, this person is serious. They're not just a tire kicker, and we don't need tire kickers. The reason I wanted to tell you that, Tom, though, is because in virtual networking, that's what I do privately. And every meeting I go to, there are at least 2 or 3 people, usually more like 2, because that's enough for me. 2 people that I connect with, and we exchange some pleasantries and probably some jokes and some tips and resources privately during the meeting. And then I get on their calendar. But I would love to see, and I don't know if you have this, maybe you do, that chat bridge somehow could also be connected to texts. Hmm.
Uh, we're uh, we're not done. I'll just say
I bet.
we're not done. I'm working with a number of well-known leaders, and we're doing a whole host of things to
Hmm.
advance ChatBridge to the next level. We
Facebook
all
Messenger. Whoop.
Yeah, we already integrated over into my referral software tool in such a way as if I see you in a networking meeting and we should be building a relationship, whether we talk or not,
Yes.
that's a little point to make. You're not going to meet all the people you should be talking with in a
Mm-mm.
breakout room.
No.
Your best opportunity went into somebody else's breakout room in all probability. Okay. However, I go through that saved chat in the chat bridge system and I
Hmm.
see Dr. Brown was there and I look at what she's published and I see the opportunity in 2 clicks. I've imported her into my follow up system for building that trusted relationship.
Beautiful.
And it's instant. It's beautiful.
And is that the Engage Pro? Is that right?
That is it.
Hmm.
And that's the heart or the foundation of how to build a successful professional services business because the
Hmm.
people who you serve likely hang out with the people who you should be serving.
Hmm.
Now, how do you get them to open up their Rolodex, their digital Rolodex? And that's what we do with Engage Pro is teach people how to get that digital Rolodex to be opened up so that you can get in there and sit down and talk to those people. And before you sit down with them, you've been given a, a royal quality introduction and the red carpet's been rolled out for you
Hmm.
when you go to meet them.
And that's what we want, because here's the truth of the matter, right? All referrals are not the same. For everybody watching, all referrals are not the same. It's when somebody really knows you and knows your work and knows what you stand for that they're going to promote you, really promote you in a powerful way. If somebody just, that's basically the difference between the lead and referral. You can go to a meeting, you meet somebody, oh, you need to meet so and so because he does this, or you need to meet her because she does that. Well, that's just so freaking weak. There
Uh,
is no trust bank account with that.
yeah.
But when you've got somebody who knows your work well, and maybe you all have used each other, or maybe you've even done a trade just to have a sample of each other's work, then that kind of referral is pure platinum.
Well, I've got to say, I don't know whether you did that intentionally or not, but
No.
you set up the key between success and average, between outstanding success and average. You heard me earlier talk about giving, and I
Mhm.
teach giving and giving and giving. And you heard me talk about when you give and give, you begin to develop the know, like, and trust relationship.
Mhm.
When that relationship is in place, you have to teach and train those people who to introduce to you and
Mhm.
how to introduce you.
Exactly.
I received a referral today from this young man that I'm coached, finishing up my program, flourishing. He gave me a referral to someone he is working with. Now, this all took place this morning on email. So I sent him a note with the screening questions
Mhm.
to teach him what he should be using for screening questions. So this was a coaching moment, but in reality, a self serving moment because I want to know Does she, the person you've introduced me to, does she know me? What have you told her about me? What
Mm,
does what is she wrestling with? What are
mhm,
her expectations in our meeting? What I've learned back because we iterate, that's just the way I support my clients. We iterate, and I've learned that she needs what he's been having.
mhm.
Okay. Now, it's only because I got specific and taught him this. And they're just, you know, a
And
collect.
you listened, Tom, to what he said.
Well, I did. And it was a teaching moment for him and prospect qualifying moment for me, maybe. It's really a,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And
So,
I wanna say I'm gonna add something to that. I think that's so important. What you're saying that we this is a pure gem for everybody watching. Train people in who to refer you to, i.e., exactly who you wanna work with, and train them on how to refer you, you know? And in this case, the most powerful thing we can ever ask is, "What is it you want to accomplish? What is your struggle right now, and what do you want accomplished? What's your vision?" We've gotta know that, or we can't enroll them in anything. And I've learned, Tom, I'll have to say to you that a lot of times I realize because I'm a promoter, I'm a natural promoter. That's my leadership type too.
sure.
I love to promote everybody, like I promote my dog. I seriously do. I'm like, and Buddy says, I promote all
Beautiful.
our rescued animals, right? Because I like to promote the shelter. I'm a promoter naturally. So sometimes what I realize is when people are more analytical, they're not very exciting. They may say, well, you need to talk to Tom. So here's what I'll say to someone like that is I'll say, look, just tell him you have to talk to Barnsley. Just tell him that. That's it. That's all you say. And give him my cell number.
Good.
And then I work with them.
Yeah. Well, your communication style is such that you can adapt to that person and open up to the conversation and get into the
Yeah.
discovery. So that's a special gift. And the thing I train people on is I want you to write down for yourself what the perfect introduction looks like for
Mm,
you. Write it down. Now, why? Because now you're going to train your referral partners, your trusted team on what the perfect referral is for you. At the same time, this is part of what causes this reciprocal engine to get going faster and faster. You ask them to tell you what would be the perfect introduction I could make to you.
mhm.
And when you teach people this and you start that engine going where you are giving one and receiving one, really, you do get it back in by the loaf, is what I'd like to say. I'll tell you a
But
story.
sometimes it takes a while. It does take a while sometimes. I remember referring probably about 10 people to my chiropractor over years, Tom, and finally she referred someone to me, and that person referred 6 other people. So, but it took some time there. It took just took time because we were in slightly different industries, perhaps, and also because I was her patient. But I love what you're saying about write your perfect, who would be your perfect person to introduce you to, because so often in the traditional business wisdom we hear, write your ideal client avatar down, like write who that person is, where they hang out, what they need. And I always say, write your hell no, I don't want to work with that person client avatar too.
Well,
So you might want to add that to what you just said and say, write who is your perfect introduction, and then write who is the worst person you could introduce me to.
well, that's a good one. That's a good one. But let me speak about time.
Yeah.
Again, my background is training coaches and professional services providers, lawyers, accountants, insurance professionals, benefits administrators, and I could go on. The list is long. Um, Here's the reality: if you follow the roadmap, you will start getting first quality referrals in 6 weeks.
Mm,
If you stay on the roadmap you will at the end of 90 days have somewhere between 8 and 12 first quality referrals. Now, a referral has a 4 times greater likelihood of becoming a client than any other source. 4 times.
Yes.
Okay, so if you had 12 people who are highly qualified in your pipeline with a high closing tendency, how many could you close? 8, 4, whatever the number is. Anything more than 0 is a huge gain for 15 minutes a day that you spend doing this. Now the
Mm.
now the I have on another screen, you can't see it here, a list of people, 12 referrals in 8 weeks. The number one performer, 43 referrals in a very difficult market.
Wow.
43 in 90 days.
Now, so Tom, let me just ask you a question to make sure I understand. So, a lot of people will refer people, but they will refer, for example, I get a lot of referrals of people wanting to be on the show, for instance, or thinking
Yeah,
so and so would be the right
yeah.
person on the show. But you are actually talking about people who could become clients first, correct?
It's always clients.
Yes.
It's not who do you know that could come and speak on the show? No.
Mm-hmm.
It's a customer, and typically it's a customer who's going to be a recurring revenue subscription buyer of something that's
Mm-hmm.
$1,000 to $3,000 a month.
Yes.
That's typically the client. Um, a financial advisor. There's a gazillion of them out there. They have all kinds of stripes, if you will, in terms of what that means.
Mm-hmm.
1 year, $32 million in increased assets under management for him that started in the second month of accumulating the new clients. And it's all because they built that bridge of trust that we've talked about earlier. And
And trained people who to introduce them to, for instance.
birds of a feather flock together. Don't forget that old adage.
Mm-hmm.
What it means here is the people who you serve best, hang out with, live next door to, go to the same
Mm-hmm.
clubs, their kids go to the same schools as
Mm-hmm.
they do. Okay. They're sitting there in that digital Rolodex. How do you get it to open up?
How do you create digital proximity?
Oh man, it's fun. It's easy. You know, there's an old Willie Nelson song. I don't sing, so I promise not to screw up your
No,
whole.
sing it, Tom, sing it.
Yeah, well, if I did, we'd start a rumor, but it's "You Are Always on My Mind."
You're always on my mind.
You got it.
You're always on my mind. What a great song.
Digi- Digital proximity, share of mind. TOMA, TOMA, top of mind awareness. When I meet someone,
Mm,
okay, when I meet someone, oh, Barnsley. Barnsley needs to meet this person.
hmm
Toma. I got stories.
Okay, so I know you got stories. I want to say something that keeps coming into my head. So that must be something we're supposed to talk about, and that
Okay.
is energy. All right. Now, I'm talking about energy as the currency of attention, and attention is the currency of business. So, whoever has energy in one of these virtual networking events is going to walk away being remembered. All right.
Yes.
Now, by energy, I don't mean crappy energy. I mean just focused, powerful energy. I'm one of those people. You're one
Right.
of those people, Tom. And people gravitate to us. And, something that I think is interesting about this is that you're outlining this logical process. And I also, in addition to having my process that I shared a little bit of in how I follow up with people, I choose those people by their energy, by the level of energy they bring. So where does
Yes.
that fit in here with Chat Bridge?
Um,
Or does it?
well, it fits in, but there's an upfront contract that has to be established. In the upfront contract, I don't know if that term is familiar to everyone who might be seeing this broadcast.
Yeah, go ahead and tell them what you mean.
Okay, but the upfront contract is something that you have to first agree with yourself that you're going to do something. And secondly, if I'm working with you, you have to convince me that you agree to complete this. It's sort of like your assignment selling example.
Yeah.
The upfront contract is if you want these results, then, and it's always if then, if you want this, then you're going to agree to do this. And the commitment you have to make to yourself to get the results I've been describing is 15 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
If you just do this for 15 minutes a day, you're going to find one, a new habit is being formed
Mm-hmm.
that builds success. And two, results will happen and they'll start in about a month and they'll accelerate in the second month. And in the third month, we're just going to cut you loose, cut the lines, you're off, you're going.
You're like the Goodyear blimp.
Yeah. And one of the parts of one of my training programs, these are workshops that I do, are the biggest mistakes people make in thinking that they're going to grow their business doing some of the stuff that I teach.
Hmm.
And one of the biggest mistakes is failure to stay on track with that 15 minutes a day exercise. I come to label it coffee time. This isn't coffee, but let's assume it were coffee. The amount of time it takes for you to sit down. Now, a client shared with me, this is what they do. Whenever he sat down in the morning for his coffee, he did the Tom assignments. Now, he wasn't giving up his coffee, and he was simply adding my assignments
Mm-hmm.
to his coffee time. And so I stole the term, and I say, you got to set your own coffee time up.
And
And
he
it's not
wouldn't miss
hard.
it because that was his coffee time.
Yeah. And he had one habit, and he was adding another good habit to that one
Mm-hmm.
habit.
Habit stacking.
It is. It is. Yep. Stack them. So,
Good habit stacking.
exactly. Exactly.
I love that, Tom. That's wonderful. So what I hear you saying, and hopefully my internet, we've had some big storms, so let's hope my internet will stay. I've got some little wonkiness going on. Y'all maybe see, it looks like a disco light or something on my side of the screen.
Yeah. It's
Um,
snowing. Yep.
it's doing something. But here's the thing: what I'm hearing from you, Tom, is that people can do this system in 15 minutes a day.
That's it.
That's it. And they can
And
have the results. They can really see the results in a month, in 2 months, even more. It creates momentum. And in 3 months, they are just, it's on cruise control almost.
they're on cruise control. I've had
Mm.
people who sell their time. I've got
Mm-hmm.
10 hours a day available for sale
Mm.
and 5 days a week and end up with a waiting list because their calendar is booked and people
Okay.
will wait for them. They will wait for them.
I was
I'll let
going somewhere with else where with what you were saying. I was thinking, oh, they're trading their time for money, which most people think about their business in those terms. Like I charge X amount per hour. No, 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 you all. You should always charge by the value and the outcome you offer, not by the hour.
yeah,
Think about the value you
I
offer
totally
and that the result you offer. So Tom, this is fabulous. And you have just given us so much today that people can use this whole idea of writing writing out the introduction, who you want to be introduced to, giving someone the questions even to ask, to plumb and to excavate from that person their motivation that they have and maybe seeking help from you. For example, this and all of the other things you've talked about in terms of trustcraft, really amazing. amazing. And the discussion of ChatBridge, which I think is one of a kind in terms of software from what I know, which is really exciting because I know it's going to go far. So I'm wondering, we like to give away stuff on the show, right? And y'all, know you can go to my website. You know the drill, spirited-solutions.com. Don't forget the dash or you will get a boring computer company. Go to spirited-solutions.com and you can get my ebook, How to Overcome Overwhelm in 7 Easy Steps. That's always available to you. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel, Dr. Barnsley Brown. Subscribe so you don't miss a single episode of the Bold Badass Business Owner Show. But let me turn it back to Tom for a second because Tom has something to give you as well, right, Tom?
I do.
Woo!
This is a little assessment. I don't know where to place it here, so help me make sure I put it in the right place for you. But it's a little self-assessment on, are you doing the things to be considered trustworthy? It's 12 questions. You score yourself. You're the only one who sees it. Now, it's got nothing to do with honesty. That's not the point. It's about the activities and where you come in on the scale so that you can focus on improving the things that will build that trusted community around you that leads you towards the results you're looking for. So I have that. It's a little single page assessment we've built over the years, and I'd love to share it with you. So I have a link, but where shall I put that? Will you add that to your distribution?
Well, how about, yes, I will, but how about speaking the link if it's not that long? Is it long?
Well, I'm gonna put it into private chat right here.
Okay.
Then I can read it.
Perfect.
And otherwise, okay. So it's a what's called a shortened URL. So it's not that long.
Good. I was going to ask you, I was like, if it's long, you need bit.ly or you need tiny URL, and you've got tiny URL. Yes.
Here we are. tinyurl.com. Okay, I'll repeat it. tinyurl.com / and then the words trust skills. That's all one word, trust skills. Okay, tinyurl.com / trust skills. And it's a single page. We may never talk to each other again, but someone is going to benefit by seeing, hey, if I only focus on this, I'm going to get what I'm looking for, more results, more people, build my network, build my community, etc.
And it sounds like it's also going to let you see what your weak points are and what your strong points are so that you can be happy about the strong ones, but you can address the weak ones.
You know, the interesting thing is I believe you're always on the way. You never stopped. You're either going forward and as I like to say, northeast upwards, or you're falling behind because the world is moving forward too. And the thing is, until you know where you are, you don't know where you have to go. You know, if I said I want to go to New York, but I didn't know where I was, how would I get from here to there? But since I know where I am and I know where I want to go, now I have a pathway to make. That's what this is all about. Yeah.
And of course, we've all heard that metaphor that, every moment that a plane is in the sky, it's recalibrating, right? So every moment is a moment where we can recalibrate. So when we're not getting the results, when you're not getting the results you want, folks, you can recalibrate. You can go back to this checklist and ask yourself, what am I not doing? Exactly. What am I doing in a half-assed kind of way? What do I need to up?
Yeah.
And my trust skills.
And the first thing is to become aware of what is the situation. What should I be doing? And once you know what you should be doing and know where you stand, now you can know where to go. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Love that. I love assessments. Remember when we were kids and we used to fill out those things, do you X, Y, Z, and you had to check what applied to you. I think we never, and those personality tests, I think we always have curiosity about how we rank in terms of things. So I think you all need to get over there right now. Of course, go subscribe to Dr. Barnsley Brown on YouTube too, because I can see you. But go over to tinyurl, which is tinyurl.com/trust skills, all one word, trust skills, and grab this 12 question. It doesn't take that long, 12 question assessment, and get a sample of what, even more than what Tom has given us today. So Tom, if you just had one thing you would say to a new business owner, or let's say a business owner who is really wanting to get to 6 figures and multiple 6 figures, what would you say to them?
Come to understand the importance of building trusted relationships in a systematic and repeatable way.
Mm-hmm.
Those last two descriptors, systematic, meaning something works, do it over and over, repeat it. When you do that, you're going to get to the results.
That's why scientific method is replicable, right? We need something that's a system and that is repeatable, that is proven to provide results. And it sounds like that's really what you've got with Engage Pro and ChatBridge. So, Tom Gay, referral sales expert for professionals. It has been such a joy to have you on the show. You've given us so much value. And everybody, go on over to tinyurl.com/trust skills, grab your assessment, and remember, you're already a bold, badass business owner, or you would not be here listening to the show. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And hey, give us some hearts, right? We like hearts, don't we, Tom? Hearts. We like hearts. Woo! And we like you to share this, because the truth of the matter is there are a lot of people out there struggling, thinking they're going to have to return to a job they hate because their business isn't working. And we are on a mission to stop that. I personally am on the mission that you have multiple 6 figures or more, whatever it is that you want. And Tom is definitely on that mission to have you have the income and the impact you want in the world. So be bold, be a badass, and tune in next week. Thanks again, Tom.
Thank you. Thank you, Barnsley.